This is the best interview I ever had. And I'm Marc Raco. Thanks for listening. I've been sharing a few special moments from several of the really incredible interviews I've had over the last 10 years. Here's one of them. What if you're a musician and you just won the biggest award the world can offer, a Grammy Award? What would this mean to you? Would you feel validated? Would you wonder what you could possibly do to top this? Would you second guess yourself if your work was really worthy of this honor? Well, singer and songwriter Lucy Kalantari, whose artistry and producing work in music for children has led to not one, but 2 Grammy Awards, kept it very raw and real in my 2019 interview with her, along with my then co-host Danielle Beckmann. Lucy shared a rare, behind-the-scenes look at what it means to be recognized as an artist at this level, including her reaction to her first nomination, why the reaction of her community mattered so much, why she had to re-listen to her entire album after being nominated, dealing with imposter syndrome, and what winning has meant to her as an artist. How has, if at all, other than the fact that you're now Grammy winner, how has your life actually changed since then, professional or personal? Has there already been an impact beyond how you feel about yourself?
Beyond the self? Yes. All of the above, Like
are there opportunities opening up for you? Are you seeing some things go in motion that may or not be resolved yet? Or,
I mean, I feel like a few things like kind of came to light. Like I mentioned, like I had thanked my mom in Dominican Republic. She lives out there, and I'm like, Mom in DR, and like and that kind of took. My mom became really famous over there. She had her 15 minutes of fame. All this media went out there, and they were really, really proud. It was really, really beautiful. That like they're just like La Mocana, La Hija de Maria. They're just like so excited, and I'm like, that's really cool. My mom was so like she had so many reporters kind of coming to interview her that she hung up on me like 3 times. She's like, I have to go. There's more people here. They okay, man. She would click. I'm like, Mom, are you having fun? So it was lovely. So I think the thing that's come out ever even from the nomination is just like what you described before when you were walking, when you found out the news, that you did this outdoors and the amount of joy that you felt. This is something that I've been getting from a lot of people, like just how there's this genuine joy and happiness for this accomplishment, that everyone has become part of it. And that has been the most special thing. And if that's anything like, I guess that's not really a change. It's more like it solidified the meaning of community to me.
Yes, absolutely.
Because like I play for all these families, I play for these kids, and like, there was one mom who practically like jumped on me to hug me. And it was just so beautiful. I'm like, she felt that joy, and I felt it with her. I'm like, let's do this. And so that's the biggest thing. It's just like, there's this genuine joy that's been connected, and this trail like that. And it's there, it's real. You could almost touch it. And I feel like that's something that we can always like kind of tap into to revive. Like, remember, we're a community and we all kind of support each other like that, Yes.
It seems so appropriate that your previous album was Pockets Full of Joy. Did I have the title right?
Yes. That was the first one of the
first
family.
one for the family. And this one is All the Sounds. Both tremendous. There was another one in between?
There's 2 in between. Okay. I've released like 4 albums in like 4 years. Yeah. And there's so much in there.
Are you working on new things now?
Of course, always. There's always stuff.
Is Darius gonna play a larger part in the next album as a cellist?
I hope so. I mean, if he's willing, we'll do it.
There you go.
We'll keep
maybe
going.
One of your songs could be about having to go find the bananas.
Ooh, do a banana song.
Because I was thinking when you said that, I honestly thought of, I don't mean to be like your idea muse here, but I was like, it's like, I'm doing this, but wait, I got to go get bananas. It's like,
when life hands you bananas, that would don't make lemonade.
Yeah, that would be your own tip of the hat to yourself. Oh.
Sound advice to
I love it. So all the sounds, I want to ask you what that album meant to you writing it. And now that you have been applauded for it at the highest possible level in the music industry that you can be applauded for it, tell me what your connection to that music is when you wrote it versus what it is now.
Often as a writer, it's like past you is writing something for future you, which I find that fascinating sometimes. All the time. No, it freaks me out. But the intentions I had was about community, about staying connected and, taking in all the sounds around us. So, and that takes form in many ways, whether it's like your eclectic opera singing neighbor, or, and there's a song about Billie Holiday and her dogs. Like, what would it be like, kind of knowing someone like her, and what's it like to have someone like her around her? And the sounds of things that are a little scary. So, like, I realize, like, so when we take things like Pockets Full of Joy, there's a lot of joy and exuberance, in this. But I also wanted to point out how, even in joy, there's still there like we said, there's no straight line, right? There are dark times.
Yeah.
And how do we deal with those dark times? And so I wanted to touch in on the sounds of darkness, the sounds of difficulties, and how do we deal with them, and the resilience that comes from that. All that together, and then it ends with the title track with All the Sounds, which is more about, the stillness and grounding. And that stillness and grounding is the thing that keeps us most connected and helps us kind of behave in the way that'll be really beneficial to our community, right? So that was kind of like the intention of everything. And so going back and listening, I have to admit, after the nomination and after all these really lovely notes and things from people, I'm like, man, is this album good? Because I haven't,
like you kind of find
I
that
haven't
you have
heard
imposter
it,
syndrome,
right? Like
or something.
that's like
That's
I've
a real thing,
been hearing this like lately. I'm like, man, I should look into this imposter syndrome thing.
Yeah.
But like, I hadn't heard the album in a while, and like, we play the songs, and I like, we perform, and it's like it's this way, and I still feel connected with like what I'm doing and the message that I'm doing, and so I went back and I listened to the album from beginning to end, just straight through. And I was doing something while I was listening, and then I stopped and I actually listened. And I thought to myself, this was everything I wanted it to be. I can't tell you, like, that makes me want to cry almost. Like, you get you have all these sounds like in your head, as a musician, as a writer, and like as a producer, and like you have it in a certain way, and like it's just like, this is it. And I'm so happy. So it's like, whether or not that would have, if it hadn't won, I still was happy. I still would have been happy.
Because you didn't write it to win a Grammy. You wrote it for you.
Of course, yeah.
And so as long as it's good enough for you, but the fact that independently it's thought of as worthy from a objective or subjective standpoint out there, What a great validation for you.
It's beautiful. I mean, it's funny because like on the one hand, I wrote it for me, but I also wrote it for you. You know, it's like I wrote it for everyone.
Yeah.
And it's like, so it's
and that's the line we walk as artists.
That's the part. It's just like, did I communicate these ideas? Like I'm telling you everything that I intended.
Right.
You know, did that come across? You know, it's like, I think it did.
Do you feel pressure that your next album, like, I'm a Grammy winner now, and I wrote this perfect album in my eyes, and now my next one has to.
I have a feeling she's just going to keep having fun. That's
what
I think.
How do you make sure? Yeah.
I think there have been a couple of moments, and it's still really recent. I'm just like, you know, there have been a couple of moments where I'm just like, oh my gosh, what can I possibly do after that? But the thing is, what can I possibly do is what I've been doing. I'm just going to keep doing and making the music, honoring the music and the sounds that I feel and hear.
I'll be back soon with another memorable interview moment. Please be sure and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere you find your best podcasts so you don't miss a single moment. And you can follow the show on Instagram and Facebook at Best Interview Pod and on Twitter at Listen Subscribe. Thanks for joining me and see you soon.